My name is Suchit. I lead sales for Adjust for the India and South Asia region. Probably we can have a quick introduction. Probably Armaan, we can start with you before we go into the panel discussion.
Hey everyone, my name is Armaan. I lead growth and channel management for Airtel Thanks app. Right.
Hi everyone, I'm Manan. I head growth and marketing at Ixigo. I've been with Ixigo for 4 years now, and prior to this, I've worked with companies like Lenskart, Freecharge, and Airtel. And yeah, overall, I have more than 13 years of experience in this domain.
Hi, Sachin Gupta this side. I am acting as Senior VP Marketing at Astrotalk from last approximately 2.5 years. Prior to this, I was running my own digital marketing agency for around 4.5 years, which eventually went bankrupt after COVID. So I have worked with companies like MoBiQuick, Toucan, Jungle Works in the past. Yeah.
Thanks, Sachin. Thanks, everyone. I think you have a very, very experienced panelist here who have spent decades in their own different genres. So first, we'll start with the icebreaker question, which is for everybody, right? I think change is something which you keep on saying every now and then. So probably this is for all of you. What specific changes have you seen in the last couple of years, be it on the consumer behavior side of it, right? Anything which is drastic, which you've seen in the last couple of years, which was not there earlier. And since all of you come from different verticals, we would like to know how that has changed. Probably Armaan, you can start.
See, so in our case, so again, we're a telecom company, right? Hopefully everybody knows, right? So in our case, the one, I would not say drastic shift, but one change that we've seen is that the digital adoption is a lot better, right? And especially in tier 2, tier 3 towns, right? Generally, people reach out to like especially Airtel consumers, right? They reach out to Airtel only when they have, let's say, a service management or a complaint to address, or let's say in case doing upgrade or buy a new service for us. So we've seen that, and as you know, right? So being a 30-year-old brand, people typically it's skewed towards being an offline-heavy engagement. So from that, we've seen a lot of organic digital engagement towards addressing these basic things, right? So and over time, consumers expect more. So that's one not so drastic change that we've seen, but yeah, I think that's one. If I were to take a trajectory
Sure.
of 4 years.
Thanks, Armaan. What about you, Manan?
Yeah, so I think if you talk about COVID times, right, like travel was the sector which was one of the few sectors which was highly impacted. Like all travel in India and across the world came to a standstill, right? In fact, if you talk about Indian Railways, this was the second time in history after a war where like the railways had stopped running. And from that to now, travel has bounced back like anything, right? Like I think all of us, there's been so much pent-up demand, and we are still seeing that it's growing year on year and month on month. So the revenge travel is back. People are YOLOing. And on the flight side, if I talk about, we see that the numbers across domestic and international are much higher than versus what they were pre-COVID. On trains, what it has done is it has increased on the online penetration bit because a lot of physical counters were closed post-COVID as well when the railways opened up. So people were forced to sort of adopt digital means to book tickets, and that has resulted in a much higher online penetration across both trains and buses. And yeah, and we have seen good growth, like in terms of revenue. We are now 6x of what we used to be pre-COVID. So yeah.
Thanks, Armaan. What about you, Sachin? You come from a very, very different vertical, right?
All right. So I'll be talking very specific to Astrotalk, where I'm working currently. So not talking about just 2 years back, probably 2.5, 3 years back, post-COVID. So initially we had apprehensions and we were like bit afraid that, okay, like every other business, our business may go down. But definitely, as you know, that astrology will never go down, either in happy times or sad times. Astrology is bound to grow. Okay, coming to the point, the change. So what we saw was that we had decent acquisition costs post-COVID. So we were happy that, okay, business is going fine. And we had a defined scale trajectory. Let's say the projections for the quarter-on-quarter projections. We were beating everything. Everything was fine. One weird fact, which is a true fact, it is you can say, an insider information about Astrotalk, but now it is 3-year-old information. So what we saw was our average session duration used to be around 4 minutes, which jumped to 7 minutes. Now, but there was no like increase in the scale, etc. So we are not sure that what this 3 minutes is bringing onto the table. Initially, we thought that maybe some organic long form content might have ranked or something. People are engaging, reading, blah blah blah. But then we noticed that this change was across the apps also, iOS, Android, both, and our entire content strategy was website. So after that, I mean, we talked to a couple of market research firms, plus we deduced that post-COVID, people had a lot of leisure time on their smartphones. They were spending more time to make a decision, to make a buying decision. And now we were thinking, okay, what we can do with those extra 3 minutes, how to basically increase, I mean, top of the funnel को एक step down कैसे लाना है? We were thinking around that thing. So obviously, like, I mean, Shah Rukh Khan said, like, ये 3 minute तुम्हारे हैं, ये कोई छीन नहीं सकता. So obviously, product, tech team, marketing team, everybody sat together. And then we did some groundbreaking stuff in the app, and which actually, I mean, is one of the key factors that in last 2 years, we have reduced our CACs by around 80%, and we have increased our scale by around 10x. That is, I mean, from 70 crores, we have gone to 600 crores turnover. I mean, this is one of the things. Should I reveal or should I wait?
Your call.
Okay. So the idea is that, I mean, we toyed with a lot of ideas, but one idea that clicked with almost every team member was, why not launch a live astrology session on the app? Free for users, they can come to the app, they can ask questions for free, etc. So they came to the app, they engaged well, and our conversion rates went up by more than 25%, which is like, I mean, we were also not expecting, we were thinking 2, 3, 4% something, but conversion rates increased by 25%, and eventually our average session duration further increased from 7 minutes to 25 minutes, which is actually like 7 minutes more than Instagram. So now our competition is Instagram. Yeah.
Great insights. I think Astrotalk, I've seen the number. You keep on breaking targets. I think you make your own targets and then you break them, and then you make new targets, you break them again. Right. My next question is probably to you for Armaan and Manan. Since we've talked about consumer behavior, right, and you understand, okay, what has changed. So as per the changes, what different strategies you've built around engagement of the app? That, what kind of engagement you should build within the app, or what strategy you should build so that your app journey can have sustainable, right? You have a sustained growth within your app. We can probably start with Armaan.
See, Suchit, for us, right, one thing that we've always struggled with is that the natural frequency at which customers interact with us is low, right? Because we're a utility company in the end, right? As I mentioned previously. So, what is the strategic purpose of our app, right? So, a strategic purpose that our app serves is that it's a place where customers can address their core needs, right? So that they don't have to go to assisted channels. So, it basically acts as a cost-saving channel for us. And also then through that, if they're digitally engaged, then it provides us an opportunity to cross-sell and upsell other services for us. But if, let's say, the customer only has a need of visiting the app once in 2 months or once a month, then all of that becomes difficult to do, right? So then what we realized over time that if we have to really drive up this frequency, right? Because then it has to be linked to some of the core things that we do, right? So I'll just give an example. Let's say one of the core use cases for us is, let's say, doing a recharge or paying a bill. Now the frequency that is probably once a month or once in 2 months, right? After that, you probably not even need to visit. But one thing that we try to capitalize on, that one insight we saw that an average user gets a lot of, on an average of 6 to 7 missed calls on the network. For example, when you're out of network, so you probably won't even know that who tried to reach you, and later on maybe you get an SMS, etc. And especially this is more prevalent which in towns which have lesser tower penetration, etc. Or let's say when you're traveling. So and these days when your SMS inboxes are so cluttered, right, it really becomes difficult to keep a track of each and every call that was missed, or let's say each and every person that you reached out to who was out of network. So we tried to leverage on that insight and digitize the entire missed call alerts on the app itself, which over time, became like one of the core use cases of people visiting the app just to check and keep a repository, right? And then that has become, so our average frequency of those users actually has become some 4.5 times a month. right? So, and some 20-25 penetration of our 20-25% of our active base actually comes for that feature alone, right? So leveraging our core strengths, as we've seen that it has given some green shoots when we try to solve a problem, because these are the quality customers who will then I can expect to cross sell or upsell other businesses.
Absolutely. I think I myself use that, and I now realize what is the reason why you switched it back to Missed Alert on the app. Now I know the reason. I think it's a good move. Surely it would have helped in increasing their views. Well, what about you, Manan? You come from a different vertical. What is your take on this?
Yeah, so see, on the travel side, booking is something that's like a basic hygiene, right? Like people will come and they'll want to book. What we have also done is we have thought about the whole end-to-end pre-booking and post-booking experience. Now, on the pre-booking side is when you want to plan your travel, right? And we have just launched a couple of months back a tool called Plan. And it's basically powered by ChatGPT. And what you can do is you can just ask and it'll give you customized itineraries. So let's say you want a 10-day itinerary for Paris and Switzerland and you're traveling with a 5-year-old kid and your wife, right? So it'll give you a customized day-on-day plan. And it'll also tell you that, okay, if you're visiting Eiffel Tower on day 1, here's a very good place to have lunch. And this is the most ordered dish on that restaurant, right? So it goes into that level of detail to tailor made a custom itinerary for you. So that's on the pre-booking side. And then obviously the goal is to help the users book all their travel related, whether you need flights, hotels, visa, whatever, right? Now coming on to the post-booking side, we have figured out the pain points. So for example, if you book a flight with Ixigo, we'll automatically do the web check-in for you. You don't have to go to the airline website and do the whole check-in process. You will automatically be sent the boarding pass on WhatsApp. Then, from a few hours before your flight, you'll get a notification to book a cab as a reminder, right? And we've tied up with cab providers. We'll also tell you if your flight is getting delayed. You can track all of this on the app. And what's the boarding gate on the terminal that your flight will leave from? So which gate do you need to reach? And once your flight has landed, we'll also tell you the baggage belt. So all these small things, right, which help the user from the pre-booking to the post-booking experience, help a lot with the retention, because at the end of the day, if you're able to create that wow experience in the mind of the user, then retention automatically takes.
Interesting. I think you get some more downloads today because of the web check-in thing only. I think it's pretty interesting. Armaan also got a smile when I saw that. Right? That's something which is an interesting feature. I'll come to you, Sachin, for the next question. I think hopefully you'll agree, since you used it, just that MMPs like us are solving one important purpose, is that to tell you that where your conversions are coming from and which channel is actually driving rest conversion for you, be it CPI, CPA, whatever post-install events. But only evaluating a channel basis the last conversion does not give you things, because there might be other channels which are actually assisting. Like Armaan also said that there are few channels which assist in getting the last conversion. So do you see that as a challenge, that you're not able to identify that which are those channels which are probably not there in the KPI driving conversion, not driving last conversion for you, but yeah, they have somewhere interacted this particular user for you? Do you see that as a challenge? And if yes, that how are you countering that challenge?
Got it. So, definitely it was a challenge, but we have started using the products well now to solve those challenges. So, I have been, you can say, working with different MMPs from last 1 decade. I have seen them evolving. From first touch till last touch, then you can say attribution waterfall, and finally dynamic attribution. I'll take one generic example, and after that I'll take some context from Astrotalk. So let's say you are serving an ad day 1, right? You are serving an ad on Snapchat, right? So you leave an impression on the user. So there is a same user, you leave an impression. The user does not click, does not get converted. Day 2, the user sees an ad on Facebook and he clicks, but still he does not take an action. Day 4, day 5, the user sees your ad on, say, Google, and then installs the app, right? Without leaving a click, he installs the app. Now what happens? Facebook took the entire credit for that install and the entire, you can say, further performance. But do you think Snapchat had zero role, or do you think Google had zero role in that? Definitely Facebook did an additional thing, that it propelled a click, obviously. So some more weightage to Facebook. But you cannot ignore Google and Snapchat in that entire journey. Now I'll take context from Astrotalk, because there may be some information which you may feel it is very on the ground, but that is the bread and butter for Astrotalk. Okay, let's say for example you see some ad somewhere, you have some problem in your life, talk to astrologer, right? But you don't take an action. Then on some platform you see some ad where there is a customer testimonial. Do not get sensitized what I'm going to say. So let's say for example you see a customer testimonial which says, I had a breakup, now I'm missing my ex, I want him back. Astrologer comes into the picture, he becomes a hero, he gives some remedies. बहुत लोग खुश हैं यहाँ पे, I can see. So he gives a remedy and your ex is back, happy scene, right? So now you are valuing that, okay, astrologers might have something, but still, let's say you do not take an action. You think that, okay, it is there. But then finally, let's say I'll talk about one of our celebrity endorsement, which was with Ranbir Kapoor and Shraddha Kapoor. So now they come on the platform and they talk about, let's say, we trust Astrotalk to solve our pain problems, etc. Now what happens here is, so you are convinced that, okay, astrologers have something to solve, but when you see that, okay, Ranbir Kapoor bol raha hai, yaar, koi baat hogi, and the minimum ticket size on the platform is rupees 50, then you at least start trusting the platform. But now imagine, let's say, your first touch with Astrotalk was Ranbir Kapoor saying, I use Astrotalk for astrology. You will say, paise leke kuch bhi bol rahe, because you have not seen a customer testimonial, a real customer testimonial. So when you are creating the category, no benchmarks, nothing, you have to basically leave multiple touch points. So Astrotalk mein it is very, very important to value the weightage of different touch points. So I think that is being solved well by MMPs like Adjust. And the good part is these MMPs are not existing due to their good tech teams, right? They are listening to marketers. If they are not listening to marketers, they'll not exist. That is for sure. A code, nobody wants to see a good, handsome, clean code written. No. If it is not solving our problem, they'll go out of business. So that is a good part. Nobody is working in silo. And these guys are listening to marketers and solving problems.
Totally agree with you. I think be it any platform, if you're not listening to the end user, for us being marketers, you will never grow. So I think that's very, very important. Next question is to you, Armaan and Manan. I think since we have now basically understand on the UA strategy bit of it, I would like to understand what are your key metrics, factors, basis which you actually evaluate that, okay, how your app is growing, your growth strategy, how does the growth of your app is actually happening, and how those particular factors are actually helping you in your core business. Right, so if you can probably both come from a different vertical, can throw some light on that, would be very helpful for the audience as well.
See, and it took us some time to figure it out, etc., to really, carve down and really identify, okay, what those 3-4, because you tend to get lost in so many metrics, etc., right? So for us, it's mainly around digital penetration, right? So just to give an example, right? MAUs alone or DAUs alone won't hold much value, but what we look at is that the 4G smartphone user base that we have of Airtel customers, how many of them are active in a month at least once. So basically your MAUs by the total eligible base. So that's the digital penetration metric that we look at. That's number one. Right. So basically those are telling you that, okay, what percentage of your overall base is digitally engaged, right? Second is that I spoke about customers needing to fulfill their service needs, right? So what that means is that whenever anybody has a need, right, what percentage of that need is getting fulfilled on the app versus a channel like an IVR or a call center or somebody walking into an Airtel store, right? And how does that penetration go up? Number three, that a lot of our cross-sell and acquisition efforts happen offline through performance marketing and so on and so forth. But as long as we have a captive base, what percentage of those like acquisitions or cross-sells are happening over the app, over the other channels? So as long as these core metrics are going up, that means those are the success metrics of a digital channel. Like so for us, very sharp.
Thanks. What about you, Manan?
Yeah. So on the travel side, right, like the first and foremost is user acquisition. So on the flight side, how many new users am I acquiring across different channels? As well as on the train side, how many new bookers am I getting? And then you obviously look at the channel metrics. What's the spend looking like? What's the CAC across each and every channel that you are spending on? And how do the LTVs look like, whether it's a 3-month, 6-month, 1-year LTV across all of those channels, basis which you decide whether you want to scale up or down on those channels, right? So this is broadly on the acquisition side. Then we also look at the repeat rates of the different users and how's the retention looking. And we have a lot of users. So we have like more than 50 million users on a monthly basis which come onto our platform. And a lot of them are utility users. So they use our apps for checking PNR status or running status, right? Now, how can we convert a larger percentage of these users to get them to book tickets with us as well? So that's another metric that we track very, very closely, is how do I increase my MTU to MAU ratio on my app? So yeah, I think broadly that's.
Thanks, Manan. I think my next question is to all panelists. I'll start with you, Sachin. This is on the hot topic, which will always be hot, is data. I think everybody talks about data. So how do you use data, right? How do you acquire data? How do you pull data? And how do you pull it back probably to your own CRM and then how do you evaluate it, analyze it to make smart marketing decisions? And also how are you utilizing MMP as per from your point of view when it comes to data? How do you utilize MMP from that perspective?
Got it. So in our, I'll start this answer personalized to Astrotalk again. So in our case, there are very strong affinities within the product. For example, let's say if I believe in tarot reading, right? I don't want to, and I have showed interest in some ad which is around tarot reading. I will never talk to, probably, I mean, in most of the cases, I will never talk to a Vedic astrologer, or maybe I may not talk to a psychic healer or somebody, right? So at the ad level, we are, I mean, capturing each and everything. I mean, there are hundreds of different kinds of ads running, and we capture at the right, I mean, at the very start that, okay, what are the affinities for these users? For example, somebody comes to us via a problem, let's say a delayed marriage, right? And he's a believer of tarot card reading. So now, I mean, there are 6-7 different metrics on which we, I mean, evaluate this. Now, based upon if they are converted, well and good. Otherwise, I mean, obviously, I mean, conversions are not like 100%. Then, I mean, after that, the entire retargeting has to happen in real time. And with the help of a good MMP and with a, you can say, a good CRM, we are able to feed back the data, I mean, with the help of some tools like Audience Builder, etc., so that we can run campaigns in real time on Google and Facebook to retarget those users with different kind of communications, keeping in mind their core affinities. Because I cannot, let's say for example, if somebody is coming for, let's say somebody got laid off recently, right? I mean, there's a lot of layoff season is happening these days. So if somebody got interested or installed the app for that reason, if I go to him and I start talking about marriage, probably I'm hitting the wrong user and I'm annoying him, right? He's not in the right state of mind. Uske financials hile hue, everything is bad. So the idea is to operate everything in real time, because if you get, I mean, let's say if you think that, okay, I mean, because initially what we used to do was, I mean, putting the custom audiences manually, etc., and then you are losing out at least on like 24 to 48 hours. I mean, that is a huge gap to be in, and your competitors are already waiting to eat your traffic, right? So, I mean, it is important that we feed the right data at the right time, that is real time, and show him the right kind of communication. And this happens with the, you can say, a good handshake between the MMP and the CRM. So, I think that has been helping us a lot. And for us, it is very important because nobody believes in astrology. At least it's a taboo, right? Nobody talks on face that, okay, I mean, I believe in astrology, I talk to astrologer, right? Because people may feel that, okay, it is irrational, or people may feel that, okay, the other guy may think I'm not competent and मैं astrologer से बात करता हूँ something. But no, I mean, so if I talk about Delhi, I mean, it's a fun fact. So, I mean, 4 out of every 100 people in Delhi NCR are our paid customers. So, I mean, out of you also, I mean, a lot of people must be paid customers. So, the idea is that we cannot afford to annoy a user. They may or they may not consume astrology, they may or may not buy from us, but we cannot afford to annoy them because already they are at the edge. Because for us, it is very important to change the behavior. Nobody, I mean, when people hear about Astrotalk, the first thing that comes to their mind is horoscopes. Okay, lucky color, lucky number, etc. No, that is just the superficial stuff. It is actually much, much more deeper science. And I mean, your problems are only solved if you go for one-on-one consultation with astrologers. I mean, this lucky number, etc. Obviously, because newspapers from a long time have floated this thing. I mean, from 30, 40 years. But that is not right. I will not say bad words about anyone, but that is not right. So it is important. Do not annoy your users. Hit them with the right communication. Hit them in real time, and use your marketing tech stack. I mean, robustly.
Interesting. Thanks. Manan, what is about you?
Yeah, so I think it's important to capture each and every data point around users' behavior on your platform. So whatever CRM tool you use, capturing all those events and then creating automated journeys. So we have a lot of automated journeys for cross-selling and upselling to people who have booked something, right? So just for example, think about a user who has booked a waitlisted train ticket to go home for Diwali, right? Now, the person wants to travel. And the ticket is waitlisted, and basis our data points, we get to know that the prediction confirmation chances are very, very less. So as soon as Tatkal opens up for that particular user, we'll send him a nudge. Hey, Tatkal has opened up. Why don't you go ahead and book a Tatkal ticket? Now, there's a chance that even Tatkal gets sold out in the first 10 minutes itself, right? Then we'll figure out via journey that if he's an AC user and there's a flight which operates on that sector where the user wanted to go, we'll try to upsell or cross-sell him a flight booking. Similarly, if there's no flight and if there's a bus, or if it's a, let's say, sleeper class user, we'll try to upsell him a bus to go there, right? So all of these journeys are automated journeys which are running via all the data points that we are capturing, and this is like a lot of data that we need to capture and figure out the real-time availability across flight, bus, train. So yeah, I think once you are able to capture that data and figure out these journeys, I think there's a lot of cross-sell and upsell that you can easily do.
Very nice. What about you, Armaan?
Building on to Manan's point, right, I fully agree, right, because even for us, capturing data of the consumer engagement to the app is fairly limited because there you know still, but the larger meat lies in identifying moments which are actually happening in the offline world, right? See, because, and there could be a couple of sources, right? One would be users' activity on the network, right? When they are going in and out of network, when let's say there's an outage time, etc., so on and forth. When are people coming back into network? So those are so a couple of things that we're trying to do is essentially can we preempt that that a certain town or a certain cohort of users will face an outage in their network, so to proactively inform them so that they with a nudge that okay, that this is an area which is experiencing some downtime, right? Because for us the angle, the cross-sell and upsell angle comes later, but more it starts with customer service because that's the primary need of the customer. And the entire idea is just to identify those moments in the Airtel ecosystem, whether it is network data or even user-generated data for that matter, right? So one thing that we're trying to do is that building on that missed call alerts, that we get flooded with a lot of inbound calls which get disconnected or unanswered, right? So one small feature that we launched that you can mark the call as spam or block it, right? So if you once reach a critical mass, then predicting spam for us would become fairly easier, where we don't just rely on what the user is marking, but again what is happening at at a network level, at net level, right? Which and the volume is immense. So it's just really about understanding those moments and then nudging the customer so that they realize more value in using the digital platform.
Interesting. I think we probably short in time. Just one last question to all of you. Since we are talking about measure, optimize, and grow, I think let's talk about MarTech stack, right? What are your MarTech stack? How does MMPs, which are the first MarTech stack which any company use on the attribution side of it, and then engagement tools like MoEngage, help you in optimizing and scaling and growing your on-tour business, right? So probably Manan, you can start on this and share your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so at Ixigo, I think, so we use Adjust for MMP, right? And I think it has been crucial for us to figure out, because we advertise across a lot of channels. So whether it is Google, Facebook, Apple, Twitter, Snapchat, or any other affiliates out there, right? So we are experimenting, and it just acts as an independent source of truth for us to figuring out as to where this user has come from, and then what is the LTV and behavior of that user looking like, right? And then we also use CRM tools like MoEngage. So we use CleverTap, and we also pass that adjust data back to CleverTap. And so that we get a one view of the user. So, okay, this user I have acquired from Facebook, and then in CleverTap I can see what all actions that a user has taken on my app, right? And then obviously we have a lot more journeys that, like I mentioned, that we have running, whether it's like getting that user to log in or getting that user to make his first train search or a flight search. And if the user drops off from the funnel, then you have more journeys nudging and getting that user back on to resume his booking. So I think an MMP and a CRM tool, just the two of these, I think these are a must for any brand.
Great. Probably just Sachin, you can give some little thought on it.
Yeah, so regarding this closing thought, so one is, first of all, I mean, we should be clear that why, the objective should be clear, okay, why particular tool is being used. If your objective is clear, then we come to the tools. All right, so starting with, let's say, a good MMP, the first thing that happens is, okay, I'll talk about Astrotalk again. So, I mean, we have discussed about MMP roles, etc. I mean, most of us already know, but okay, I'll talk about a small good thing that has happened at Astrotalk. So, marketing and operations team came at peace by using a good MMP. I'll tell you why. I mean, so there are some KPIs. Marketing KPIs are revolving more around acquisition costs and the ROAS. And operations at our company, operations KPIs are revolving around revenue per astrologer. And we have a feature in the app that is first 5 minutes free for the user. Now what happens is, if we are not able to target our campaigns properly, I mean, so over time we have identified different kind of behaviors and segmentations where free sessions are consumed more as compared to the conversions happening. And in those cases, people have poor paying capacity. They do the first transaction for 50, 100 rupees and then they go back. So now we have identified each and every, you can say, aspect that, okay, this set of users give us better LTV. This set of users give us better, let's say, cohorts in terms of recurring users. So all those things are, you can say, marketing is able to generate higher ROAS, return on ad spend. And the operations guys are at peace that, okay, they are able to optimize the revenue per astrologer. Coming to a good, you can say, insight-led engagement platform. So we are using a leading CRM tool, and by that tool, we are able to figure out that, okay, what all actions does a high LTV user perform before making the first purchase? What highly impulsive users do before making a purchase? What freeloaders do before making a purchase? So all those insights we have, and we have created affinities. So for example, let's say if I want to do this is again a special thing that is being done at Astrotalk is, let's say for example, today we are spending close to around 15 crore rupees a month on marketing, out of which we are tracking directly around 11 crore rupees, that is Google, Meta, Snapchat, Taboola, TikTok, etc. But apart from that, obviously, I mean, as a growing company, our hunger is not stopping. So what we have done is, we have bought some, you can say, branding inventories digitally. And how these CRM tools have helped is that we have created our own affinities. We are not looking at Google Analytics to check that, okay, in Delhi, this affinity, etc. So I know, I'm not sharing the real insight, but I know a person sitting in Mumbai who loves to play Temple Run and who loves to drink vodka is my better customer as compared to a person sitting in Udaipur who do this, blah, blah, blah. So these are some, you can say, insights that we have created with the help of these CRM tools. And now I can buy branding inventories and I'm driving performance from it because these insights are code